in the middle of her conversation, I'll just grab her mouth and just like start making out with her and then just walk away without saying anything, you know? So
Bless.
Virtual reality.
Hi, I'm Danny.
And I'm Evan.
And this week, I mean, the Vanderpump Rules cast, they really have put scandals and podcasting back on the map in a way. It hasn't been in a minute because we're getting live updates from them like every time I refresh my Apple or my Spotify, Evan, because Lala's given us Lala and then some.
Well, and I really appreciate Lala for keeping us updated because she very celebratorily let us know that Ariana and that hot guy Daniel, they got it in.
So she's like, heartbreak what?
I know.
Like, I'm solid. I'm banging a fine-looking man.
It's sort of like all the Vanderpump cast has kind of become Bravo blogs in the sense that they're like, did you guys, because like everyone was posting Ariana at Coachella and etc. And then I love that Lala was like, guys, did you see Ariana at Coachella? And then also that she is thriving. She said that she's banging a fine looking man. I mean, look at her.
I'm also curious to see if she and this guy end up being like a thing, if it's not just a fling. Like they look great together, so I'm crossing my fingers. I would love that for her.
And also, of course, I want to see him on the show.
I hope
he's a little bit more than Satchel, because Satchel's a little silent. The X is silent, and so is the Atchel. Yeah.
Yeah, Satchel is a little silent. I gotta say, like Satchel, I don't know if I'm assessing his energy correctly, but he doesn't seem like he fits in with the group. Just I don't know if I see that for him in his future. But maybe that's what attracted Katie to him, was that he didn't seem like your regular Pump Rules kid.
That's true. And like he kind of was just a nice little change of scenery for her. And he was very nice, just kind of like holding her while she was in 500 fights this week's episode, because this was one for the books.
Oh my God. Wait, yeah, I like my eyes were darting like across the screen because there was a lot to keep up with. There were a lot of feuds. And Schwartz, who has been at the center of a lot of drama this season with Raquel and everything, he's not typically involved in screaming matches or like potentially maybe almost violent interactions, but he got a drink thrown on him and then he got annihilated verbally by Lala within like the same 10 minutes.
I'd rather have 800 drinks thrown at me than Lala looking me up and down and giving me one insult, because I could dry clean a shirt. I could never recover from like Lala assessing my weakness and dragging it out.
The image of Schwartz like cornered in the booth just eating a chicken wing as she's like standing over him just going at him, talking about don't come forgive them, Lala, that is my business. That's what puts food on the table for little baby Ocean. So yeah,
when you open up a business I could buy something and let me know. Like she was not holding back. And
she called him a farm animal. So, but what did you think of the Schwartz and James drink throwing moment? I feel like, and I also feel like Allie feels like this, is that it is just like pent up aggression at Schwartz for going after his ex.
2000%. But I feel it's that. So it's like you just made out with James's ex, and now you're gonna do a little joke about their failed engagement thing while you're next to his ex that he only invited to be nice. Was Schwartz rocking a boat a little bit, trying to do his little cutesy, as Lala called him, a basset hound, and then realized like, oh, I forget words have consequences. So do I think James overreacted? Yeah. Do I think he was warranted to throw the drink? 2000%.
And it was like interesting watching Schwartz's face after the drink was thrown at him, because I think that he was processing. He was like, wait, I really just got like a drink thrown in my face. How did we get here? And then I think that as like James was sort of like circling the crew and yelling in British and like
in British,
figuring out how he felt about the moment, you could see Schwartz kind of thinking to himself like, wait, how should I like really react? And then Schwartz kind of like puffed out his chest a little bit and was like, if you do that again, it's not going to be good for you. And then James is over here like, okay, fat man. And I'm like, oh my God, James, you know what happens when you body shame people. Don't you remember you and Lala at the Mondrian talking about summer bodies? We don't do that.
Yeah. And I mean, Schwartz was talking a lot. He was like, I'll put you in a headlock. I've seen you throw drinks at Stassi. I don't know where this headlock energy is coming from, but I
feel
know
like Schwartz putting someone in a headlock is like him giving you a noogie.
it's really cringe, but I think his true colors are showing a little bit. So I feel Katie is watching this episode probably like, good. People are yelling at him for once. Because this is what I've been wanting people to do for a while, the antics. Because it did piss me off when Lala was storming off. And he's like, you're a good mom, because it did feel passive aggressive.
Yeah, and he was kind of smirking when he said it, like almost laughing. And I hope he meant it, because I think Lala is a great mom, and Ocean is so lucky to have her. So I hope that he wasn't being facetious, because what he was saying didn't match up with the expressions on his face. Also, I don't know if you caught this, Danny, but when they all kind of came to the beach bar and Katie was like, oh my God, the reason why we went to the beach bar was to get away from everyone. And then they came, they sat around, and Katie wasn't really saying hello or acknowledging him. And then she was like, I don't F with you. And then kind of quietly under his breath, he was like, I don't miss Katie at all. Like, I'm so glad. Like, I don't miss her at all. And
in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, it felt like, I don't know. It felt like we lost the Basset Hound facade for a moment. And like you said, it's almost like some of his truer colors are starting to like peek out a little bit.
It was a big episode for peek outs, because it also was the episode where Sandoval was confronted about pre-Scandoval Raquel rumors.
I'm like, Abby, we know everybody there. It's not a place where I would take a secret rendezvous.
And he even said to the producers in a confessional point blank, like, I haven't done anything with Raquel that I wouldn't do with Katie. Huh?
Well, Katie even said previously that she's never been to the Abbey at 1 a.m. dancing alone. So yeah, it was kind of weird to see him in that moment, especially knowing what we know now and everything. There was definitely a nervous energy, and I think like a slight smirk. Like, it's just just lying through his teeth.
He was lying through his teeth because he's not toothless.
He's not.
And we bring that up because, Evan, you went to now one of the most iconic charity events, I feel, all time in LA. Homeless, Not Toothless.
Danny, this was my Met Gala. the Homeless Not Toothless Hollywood Gala, hosted by none other than Dorit Kemsley. And it was a fun time. I covered the red carpet, and I spoke with a few of the ladies. I obviously spoke with Dorit. We talked about the charity, but we also talked about how she and Erika made amends after Erika kind of came for her and PK's marriage at BravoCon, which I think, I don't know how you felt in the moment, but I remember just being so shocked by that, because obviously and Erika have been really close. I mean, reflecting on their Beverly Hills journey, I think sometimes you forget that there was that whole PK drama and the like no underwear and the dress and all that kind of stuff, but they really made an effort to put that behind them pretty quickly, and they've been solid for so long. So then, I don't know, I was kind of worried, like, are these two over?
I know her calling it out at BravoCon was, as Dorit would say, turn their relationship into actually the diametrical opposite.
No, literally though. But she told me that they were able to patch things up, and she said that Erika was apologetic for making the comment, and we will see that play out on season 13 of Beverly Hills.
We've obviously come to the other side, so I'm pleased to hear that she was saying nice things this time.
Speaking of that comment, I did have to say, from the footage I watched of you there, PK looked great also.
PK did look good. He was, honestly, I chatted with him for a little bit, and he just seemed like in very great spirits. Like, he and Dorit, they walked the carpet together. They looked so adorable, and they just celebrated 8 years of marriage. I think they're in like a really good space. 8 years, that's 1 year after 7. So they've made it through that 7-year itch. And Dorit was telling me that basically it just takes a lot of trust, communication, and
in every language.
Yes, in every language. Yeah. And she and PK are in a good spot, she said. So it was great to see.
Well, I'm glad Dorit and PK are stronger than ever, because another Bravo couple that is blowing up, I feel like every fan's minds in the best way. Kory and Sam, we're all rooting for them so hard. Evan, we're obsessed with them, right?
Oh my God, obsessed. And especially after chatting with Kory this week, he just could not stop gushing over his relationship with Sam, and he also revealed some pretty spicy stuff about their relationship. Like the first time they hooked up, he told us what happened in Montauk. Sex on the beach.
It's not just a drink, honey.
Okay, Kory Keefer, we're so excited to have you on the podcast, especially because this romance with Sam, which Danny and I are so obsessed with, it's finally starting to show up on the show. How are you feeling now that you two are out and about? You don't have to keep it a secret anymore. It must be the best.
It is. Well, thank you for having me on the show today. I appreciate that. And yeah, it's actually fun and very exciting to let it be known to the public. You know, we were keeping it a secret to an extent, and we didn't know, like, you know, once we make it official, we're going to be, you know, in the public eye, and now we're going to, you know, is all the shit that comes with that. So I was a little scared, I think more than her, but I'm super, super excited, and it's been amazing so far. So.
And kind of with you being excited but scared of everybody's reaction, and of course you're worried about like the public and the viewers' reactions. Was like all of your Summer House crew, were they all super excited for you guys? Because I'm assuming they knew before everybody else did too.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like we've been dating for a while. We just didn't make it, like, put a title on it. We've been dating since, you know, last year, but didn't say, hey, you're boyfriend, girlfriend. So we've been very close for a while. And so everyone kind of knew anytime I'm in New York, we're out together. And if we go to any event, they're seeing both of us together. So, you know, I think everyone kind of understood, but, you know, without saying it. So then when we made it boyfriend, girlfriend, nothing changed between us. It was the exact same thing, except now everyone knows about it. So
what was it like going through the winter house cycle, and you're dating Sam, but your flirtations with Jess are playing out on the show, and then you have to talk about Jess in interviews and then keep Sam a secret because she isn't even announced as a cast member yet? What was the toughest part of that, and how did you guys work through that?
So one of the funniest parts, to be honest with you, I don't even know if she's told anyone this, was at BravoCon. You know, I was kind of like still under the radar at BravoCon. So I'm walking around with Sam, and people were like taking pictures of me. I'm like, oh my God, Jess. And I'm like, no. And she's like, I'm just a friend. And so she took it so well. She didn't get mad about that. She told me she's never watched Winter House. So we've talked very briefly about it, but she was like, honestly, which I praise her for this, is saying like, I don't want to like have any sort of like ill will feelings to something that you did before you met me.
I just kind of want to know, what is it about Sam's personality that you were immediately attracted to? Because it seems like the parts of herself that she was insecure about, you love the most.
Yeah, I mean, and I think her energy is like what I was attracted to the most. The first day I met her, I was like, of course, this is a beautiful girl. Her eyes, amazing. Those beautiful blue eyes, like, was the first thing I was attracted to. But then when we were out, she was just like, we went to like this club that wasn't as fun, and all the girls are kind of like, and then she's over there just like dancing in circles, like, hey, like we're having, and I'm like, okay, this girl is like, she doesn't let other things bother her, and she's just very confident in who she is.
Now, hanging out with Carl and Lindsay as much as you and Sam do, does it kind of inspire those feelings of maybe we should get engaged or take this to the next level? I mean, what do you think, Kory?
I think you're putting the carriage before the horse right now.
I do that a lot.
But no, it's good to see, like, you know, especially like Kyle and Amanda happened like a year and a half ago, and then Carl and Lindsay are happening now, that TV relationships can be successful and can happen. Because, you know, that's a different world. You know, when you make your relationship super public and you do it on a show, which is scary. And it's like, you know, so I have a lot of worries on that front, but seeing the roadmap of like, all right, it can be successful. You just kind of have to do's and don'ts of what to do. It's cool to see that. And it gives me hope to be like, okay, if this keeps progressing, there is an easy, or not easy, but there is a route that can go that we can make it happen. So
would you be ready to have a little New York life if you and Sam are continuing going, or do you love your home down south?
So, and Sam and I talked about this. I 100% would move to New York, and she knows that. The only thing that's keeping me from moving to New York right now is like, I'm super invested in my gym. So like, I have gyms, and like, I don't have a gym in New York yet.
No, another thing that she said on the show is that she never wants to lose that sexual tension with you, Kory. Would you say that honeymoon stage sexual tension, are the vibes still vibing? Is it still exciting? Like, where are you at in your relationship in terms of the connection you have? And would you say it still kind of like mirrors the fury and fire you felt in the Hamptons over the summer?
She said only knew 3 words, and one of them was vibing, and we are still vibing. So the sexual tension is 100% there.
On the last episode, she did say that you two were going to go to Montauk together, and it was going to be kind of like this test. What happened in Montauk? Obviously, you passed the test.
Montauk was amazing. First time going to Montauk, we went to Surf Lodge. It was such a good vibe. I don't even know who was playing, but it was, I think Zed's Dead or something was playing, but it was an amazing vibe. And it's funny. So we hooked up our first time, like officially sealing the deal was on the beach. It was kind of like weirdly romantic. And Carl and Lindsay were there as well. We were all laying on the beach, and then like it's dark and Carl has his music playing. And then we like hear some stuff, and they're like, we're just going to move down like 50 yards. So we both moved down. We can't see each other. And then, yeah, so the first time was on the beach in the moonlight in Montauk.
Wow. Okay, Nicholas Sparks. That is
Truly,
amazing.
Taylor Swift is gonna write a song about y'all.
Yeah, we set the bar high for each other the first time, but it hasn't dropped from that. I mean, that was an amazing time. And yeah, it just kind of was like, okay, we are romantically compatible too, because sometimes, like she said, you can get the ick after you like hook up and you're like, oh, that wasn't what I liked, or it was kind of weird. 100% was not the case. So